Hey guys, this is Gurpreet. Welcome to another video. This is the second part for the compliance policies in Intune. So let's quickly get started. In the previous video, we talked about how the Android policies work and what are the different options available for Android compliance policies. In this, we're going to talk about what are the iOS settings which are available in the Intune latest version. So as you've noticed, I'm using the latest link, which is the dedicated link for Intune, which is devicemanagement.microsoft.com. So keeping in mind that in Azure, there's a lot of things which can be there. So for the Intune and mobility, and I would say in some sort, SCCM users are using Intune and they've been given a different login page altogether. So this is the login page. You don't have to go to the portal.azure.com. This is specifically for Intune and all Intune activities. So let's quickly go into settings. So here the options are a little different from the Intune. So we have devices and then we have the policies here in the devices. So we don't have a dedicated device tab here. It's been moved under device overview. So let's go to compliance policies. So at the moment, there is no compliance policy. So just gonna create one for you. And let's quickly go and check iOS and iPadOS. There's another change here as well. If you have noticed that all the policies now have been named as iOS and iPadOS. So iPadOS got some new features and they're kind of moving towards the Mac OS layout as well with iPad. Since they have iPadOS merged with iOS earlier, but now they have separated because there are some policies and things which will be different in the future. So Apple have introduced some. So maybe there'll be some different policies for iPad. So that's why keeping it compliant, Microsoft added this feature and mentioned it as iPadOS. So we'll just select that, click on create. And once we click on create, we'll get these settings as well. So I'm going to click on test. So no description at the moment. And we're going to click on the compliance settings. So once you come in compliance, there's not many options available here, but let me show you one by one what all options are there. So email. So it says unable to set up email on the device. So it is not configured required, so it should be required. And manage email account is required to have the device compliance. So a managed email address, it should be a corporate email, not your personal email on your Outlook. So a managed email is required to have the device compliant. As long as you have the managed email, your device will be compliant. All right, so this should be set as required. Go to device health. So in iOS specifically, we have options to jailbreak devices, and we don't want any of our user, any of our employee using the jailbroken device. So it should be blocked. And there should be a certain threat level which we can decide for a particular user. So it depends on your security team. You have to talk to them and see what is the best option available. But for them, I think the medium should work. We can also go to secured, but secure had many more features and it can restrict a lot of things for a user. So we keep it as minimum for now. And there are different threat levels. So if you click in here, it can give you an explanation of what all things are available. So let's go to the next option here, which is the device properties. So in device properties, we can set a minimum OS version required to have this compliance up and running. So if we want the device to be more than iOS 8, so we have to put minimum iOS 8. I don't see a reason to put a maximum OS version here, but that's the option is available, so that's fine. So we are on iOS 10 at the moment, and we're going to soon be going to 11. So this is iOS 8 minimum for all the compliance policies. We can also put a build version. Build version is pretty complicated. We should not be using it. You can probably put 8.0. If they're not updated, they will get a request to update the devices to be compliant. Okay, so here we have the security options. So in the security options, all the devices should be enrolled using a password. So we're going to require a password, so we click require. Once we click on require, you will see all the other options get highlighted here. So Simple password, it should be blocked. Simple password are 1234000 and things like that. The minimum password that we can set, we can keep it 4, we can keep it 6. People prefer 4, that's fine. Password type, either it can be numeric, like the numbers only for iPhone and iPad, or it can be alphanumeric. It depends on you, how rigid you want to be with the customer or the user. So number of non-alphanumeric, if it's numeric, you can set this, and the maximum minute after screen log before the password is required. For example, you're using a device, you kept it aside, it is not logged, and when you turn it on, and again sometime it asks for a log, but there is a certain period of time where it does not ask for the password again, it just start working again. So we can set the time here. So maximum minutes of inactivity. So once the device is inactive for certain number of minutes, when should it ask for the password again, we can set it here. Password expiration days, this is basically depends on your AD. I mean, first thing, this is not related to your AD. Your Intune password is not related to your AD. Okay. So here, if you can set the device expiration as 41 days, which is mentioned here as a default, we can probably have it 90 if you want to keep it a standard with all the AD thing here. But it totally works differently. Okay. Um, Number of previous password to be reused. So you can not use 5 previous passwords. Let's say if I put 1234, which is not allowed, let's change it to 2580. And if you want to use the next password as 2580, if you put here 0, it'll be allowed. If you put a 5, for the next 5 time, it will not be allowed. Okay. Device security. So we can have some apps which can be restricted on the devices which you don't want the user to be using, and this can be mentioned here. So let's put the description here. So add a bundle ID for the apps that should be restricted. So we have bundle ID like safari.apple.com, for example. So if you don't want that to be here, just put safari.apple.com. That app will be restricted. If that app is there, it'll show as non-compliant. Okay, it'll be marked as non-compliant. So if we click on next, that's when the action for non-compliance. So there are literally actions we can select. So first action is that mark the device non-compliant immediately, then send an email to the user. So we can just select the template here, and message template can be selected here. We can add the template. There are some pre-filled templates, they were there, but I think they have taken it off. Yeah, the templates are not there anymore. So we can just add a template here. Okay. And additional recipient, let's say if the email is sent to the user and you want an email to be sent to the admin as well, to the administrator as well, that okay, this guy got an email that the device is not compliant, so he'll be notified as well. And the third, we can set remotely lock the device or retire the non-compliant device. So we can set different compliance for a device, what will happen. Okay. So let's say after 1 day. Okay. And I think that should be it. So it's none selected, that's why it's not moving ahead. I'm just going to delete. And scope tags we can add. We talked about scope tags earlier. Assignments. So here we have a different options to select all the groups, some users, all users, excluding groups and including groups, and then review and create. I don't want to create it right now, but these are the things you can check before you publish this compliance policy. So we named it test. You can see it's for iOS, and email is required, the device health, device property, and things like that. So this is it for the iOS compliance. It is pretty straightforward and it is self-explanatory, and so it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. And once you select this, make sure that you always apply this on a test account and on a test group, so that whatever changes you see it on your device or your test device first, and then it can be published to all the users. So stay tuned, guys. There'll be more videos soon, and stay home, stay safe, and see you soon again. Thank you.